I will never.
Well,
Gosh, it's time.
I freaked out when I saw action required. I'm like, what did I do?
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Bateman?
Here.
Mr. Goodyear?
Here.
Mr. Hart?
Here.
Mr. Ori?
Here.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Here.
Mr. Ping?
Here.
Welcome, everyone. With us tonight, we have our Director of Finance, Mark Medler, Clerk of Council, Clark, City Manager, Dave Kennedy, City Solicitor, Joe Braun, Captain Gangwer is our Sergeant at Arms tonight, and former council members Kent Blair, Todd Osborne, and Pat Mayes. Welcome, everyone. Mr. Medler, I believe you are up first.
Thank you, Mayor. Recently, the city was made aware by the Government Finance Officers Association that we have once again won their award for fiscal reporting. So this is the award that we get at the end of the year after all the dust is settled. We submit our financial reports to both the state of Ohio and to the GFOA. So this is something that we take very seriously. It's been about 10 years in a row we've got this award, and it is pretty much the benchmark for having a transparent and open government, having all the fun and exciting numbers out there for everyone to see. And if they have questions, they can always come to us and ask. So we're very pleased. The finance department staff works very hard. And as I said, we take this very seriously. So we just want to thank everyone for their support.
All right. Well done, Mr. Medler. Way to keep the streak going. All right. Open forum. We have Ryan Rolfs.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council. My name is Ryan Rolfs. I live at 304 East Loveland Avenue, adjacent to your bridge project that's going on. And I was just hoping to bring a couple of things to your concern. The first of which is that we've been in contact about our driveway being blocked. Just yesterday, we had to ask a crew to move, and they walked through our yard. I know Mr. Kennedy, I emailed about it. I don't know if it's a tree crew or a different crew or somebody that you guys aren't in contact with, but it's very bothersome. Our utilities have been interrupted 3 times, twice our power, once our internet, without any notice whatsoever. My wife had an important meeting that she had to do on Skype that she was unable to attend. If we had been notified, we could have taken the options to go somewhere else and do it. So we just asked to be notified in the future. Our water has been gross since the project started. It's been running green and brown. We've spoken with neighbors up and down the street, and they've all had the same problem. We're worried about bathing our children, giving our children water to drink. We've been buying bottled water. I don't know if anybody's aware of it. Wanted to bring it to your attention. Our garbage was not picked up last week by Rumpke. The recycle man had to recall it in and have it picked up by somebody else. We kindly ask that our garbage please be picked up tomorrow morning. There's also garbage in the street and in our yard that has been left by the crew. On my way in here today, I saw a hard hat, 3 bottles of water, caution tape, and papers just strewn in my yard. I understand there's an easement, but we still have to look at it, and it is a private residence, and we just ask, just to be respected. Today, there's no access to our driveway. When I got home, there was a caution tape from a backhoe to my neighbor's mailbox, and I'm unable to reach my home. My children need to go through this tape to get to the bus, which for the last couple of days, actually 2 weeks now, they've been walking up a street with no sidewalk to catch the bus with cars whizzing past them because it's a soft close. They said it's closed, but if anyone goes through, they can't stop them from going through, which puts my children at risk and just makes us very nervous. On top of that, we've been told to park across the street at the former Moose. I don't know what the building's called now. But they've been working with backhoes and bulldozers in the driveway, and somebody parks at the physical Moose. So we've been unable to get into that parking lot multiple times. It actually caused my wife to be late to work the other day. She had to wait and have somebody move a backhoe. 2 Fridays ago at 10:30 at night, 4 trucks showed up outside of our home, making noise, putting things in our yard. And when my wife went outside to ask them why they were working after the hours the city notified us they'd be working, they were very rude to her. and told her that they weren't starting until midnight, actually, even though it was 10:30. We called Alta Fiber. Alta Fiber blames the city, says that you guys gave them a special permit to work during that time. And when I contacted the city, they have no knowledge of that. So I don't know who said it was okay for them to work, but it really disrupted our children. My daughter slept in our bed that night. She was so scared. Our mail has been taken out of the ground, and our mailbox has been attached to a telephone pole. There's no access to the road since it's between where the holes are, and we're worried that we're not going to get our mail. So we were just hoping to bring that to your attention too. And I'm sorry, I know this is a lot. Our last thing is the beautification of the process. All of the trees on our side and a lot of the trees on the nature preserve side have been just shoved out of the ground and torn down with backhoes. And we're just concerned that the area is going to look bad after the bridge is done. And we're really hoping that somebody could help beautify it and make it look better so that our kids are proud of the place that they live. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. I'm sorry about all the issues that you're facing. I think one complication is this is not our project, right? I'm not passing the buck. I'm saying we don't have control over it because it's a Claremont County project. Doesn't mean we can't talk to Claremont County commissioners and the engineer's office and whoever we need to try to get some answers for you. But it's not as easy as us going to our contractor and saying, do you ever want to work for us again? Because this isn't our project. But we certainly have a voice that we can use to try to address some of your issues. Did you want to?
Yeah, Ryan he's put up with the most actually before the project began because of the speed and the location. He's put up with the most, him and his wife. There's no excuses. We'll talk to JT Smith in the morning. And, one of the problems here is that MSD is working, Cincinnati Bell's working, water mains are working. I mean, it is a project. As far as at the end of the day, we need to contact JT Smith directly. Ultimately, he is the sub. He's the one that should be getting the call. So I'll call them in the morning. But Ryan's right. We've been in contact for probably 3 years between the garbage, the speed, some of which think we're fixing. The storm drain is another issue that's impacted Ryan's house. We're impacting that. The trees that were removed will clean those up, but that was part of the project. Just slightly straighten it out, include the visibility when people come down that roadway, and to be able to expand the sidewalks that ultimately are going to go all the way up to the Grail property. So I will call JT Smith first thing in the morning, Ryan, and I'll call you back. I'll do that first thing in the morning. I do get in early. So I'm sorry about that. Everything he said is 100% accurate. There's no...
Ryan, if you
have to go up there.
It's only my second time ever being in here, which, by the way, thank you. The first time I was here was for a sidewalk issue with my children, and you guys have been great with that. I called the engineer of the County of Claremont, and he informed me that this is a Loveland City project that was given grant money by the county, and that there's nothing that they can do for me. So every time I've called them...
Who'd you talk to? Do you know the name?
I don't offhand. I can give you the number after that I've called, but they told me that I really have to deal with you guys, and it's been horribly frustrating.
Well, we're telling you the truth, and we'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll thanks, Brian.
Boy. All right. Next on the agenda, the minutes of the January 23rd meeting. Are there any changes, additions to the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Abstain. I was absent.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right. Next is minutes from the February 6th, 2024 special meeting. Any changes or additions?
Move to approve as written.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
All right. Next is a second reading of an ordinance. You go ahead and read the ordinance.
Ordinance to make revisions to appropriations for expenditures for the City of Loveland, State of Ohio during the fiscal year 2024.
Discussed this last meeting. Is there any further comment? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Ordinance 17 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
So, one of the projects that was in the 2024 CIP and was the Cherokee Water Main Replacement Project, which is a very uniquely funded project that the city was able to put together. As people know, everyone knows, we've been investing heavily in the Heights. We've also created the WMR fee with the goal of building up a fund that is dedicated solely for water main replacement, not even engineering, the actual physical construction of water main replacements. And that when we finished the water main on Main Street, that was at the time our oldest, most dilapidated water main. We then, with Cindy, we began our focus on Cherokee. Cherokee, we water projects in Hamilton County, the district of the OPWC, they do not fund water or user fee projects. They will fund the road part of it. They will fund the sidewalk part of it, the stormwater part of it. Remember that whenever you deal with a water main project, it's more than just the water main. For example, this project is 2,700 linear feet of water main at 2.1 million. That's 777 feet, $777 every time for every linear feet of water main. That's all encompassing. So the city was able to secure $745,000 through Congressman Greg Landsman's office as a congressional appropriation, and we've been sort of delaying because until the federal budget is officially approved, that money won't be released. But what Cindy was able to do was she was able to go back to OPWC and secure $955,200 for everything non-water related, which is all the road, all the stormwater, all the sidewalks. And with that, the city was able to put together a total funding project on a $2.1 million project, $955,000 for the SCIP grant, $745,000 through the congressional appropriation, $210,200 in WMR fee, which will be our first use ever. There'll be a first expenditure of the WMR fee, and then our local funding is simply the engineering cost. So we were able to, thanks to Cindy putting all of this together, the project, the city's share is $292,000, which is 14%. But if you remove the WMR fee, our city share is only 4%. So this water main will replace mains on Cherokee, upsize water mains on Cherokee and Main Street, create a loop, which we definitely need, add hydrants along West Main near Highland, with it where the apartments are that have no water main, no fire hydrants. They're all private. Some of you remember what happened at Westover a few years back when they were literally out of water for weeks, if not for Chief Huber getting very creative with some fire hydrants, and running them through their outdoor spigots. They would have not even had a trickle. All of that gets replaced. All that private main that they're connected to will get replaced with a brand new main. Everything goes from cast iron to ductile iron. Again, there's a loop, there's fire hydrants, there's road work, there's stormwater repairs, and we get one of the most major water mains replaced in the city for very little amount of our money. And then actually the next one we're applying for will be Tuscarora. So this is a very big project, and as anything, part of the projects are we need to get moving with the engineering and designs. You can't bid out OPWC, you can't award OPWC projects until July. So this is a good time to get started on all the engineering. Every time we talk to Greg Landsman's office, who has been wonderful, Dave, it's coming, you just got to wait. It's coming, the money will be there. But we can't keep waiting. We need to move forward with the bidding, and that's what this is to do, which is to secure that process. We actually appropriated $190,000 for engineering design for this project, and it actually came in at $82,400, which is a savings to the general fund, the water fund, and the stormwater fund, because we try to make sure that everyone pays equally. We look at the scope of the project, we look at the percentages of it, and that's how everyone pays. Just so you know, we do break that out. So this is simply to execute that agreement with Choice One Engineering.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
Just
Vice Mayor?
to be clear, in your memo, I think it's back at page 16. It uses that July date, but it says 2023. You mean 2024?
Yeah, 24. Yes.
Okay.
Any further comment? All right, go ahead and read the resolution, please.
Resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Choice One Engineering for professional design services, bidding, and construction supervision services in furtherance of the Cherokee Drive water main replacement project.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Resolution 18 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
So in 2021 was the first time that the sidewalks on the West Loveland Bridge appeared in the city's capital improvement program. Obviously, to this date, the sidewalks have not been repaired. If you recall, in 2022, the Hamilton County Engineer's Office, and rightfully so, was proposing to close down the sidewalks on the north side of the bridge. And that would have obviously, for those that are in the city of Loveland, we knew there would be, obviously, that's a mad dash to get across. The city then threw blacktop on the sidewalks just to preserve that and to remove the county's, the possibility of the county closing down the sidewalks on the north side of the bridge. So now after multiple bids, so what was the city's involvement in this project? It's a county bridge. The city's involvement was that we saw this as an opportunity. Basically, railings, ODOT modified their standards for railings, and basically in terms of the girth of the railings and the height of the railings. With that, when the sidewalk was replaced, it would be no longer grandfathered in. The railings would have to be removed, a new parapet wall would have to be installed, and we would have greater height, and we would basically have the standard ODOT railing. It was brought to the city's attention as we realized this bridge will never be touched in most of our lifetimes ever again, that this may be a time that the city would like to add decorative railing to the bridge. We offered to do that and upped it a little bit, and also realized this was an opportunity to continue the streetscape plan of how we're extending our lighting up to West Loveland Bridge. So the city agreed to participate at a rate of 16%, which City Council approved. And then in March, City Council also approved the lighting through Duke. So this project has been bid out multiple times and it continues to go up in price. So what we're asking to do is to increase in February 14th, 2023, City Council passed a resolution 2023 committing your local share of 16%, which at the time was $60,000 towards the bridge, the lighting, the conduit, the whole deal. At the time, it's a pretty good deal. Price went up considerably. The city needed more money. Mayor Bailey was very helpful, instrumental in getting another $225,000. That meant Claremont County, who co-owns this bridge, was putting money in the game, and we stayed right around that $67,000 mark because of that $225,000. The latest bid that came in, it went up even more. So the city was faced with two opportunities: stay around the 67 mark for the conduit, a few items, or increase our local match and upgrade the railing to what actually Ryan will like this, which will be match the railing that will be on the East Loveland Bridge. And there's I show you that. So the existing parapet will have a new parapet that adds the girth to the bridge railing, and then the height. Mayor Bailey and I've discussed this multiple times, and we do feel like this is an opportunity that we're only going to get once. This is the main gateway into the city. So basically what we're asking is that we would amend our agreement with the Hamilton County Engineer's Office to increase our local match to have the railing installed at this time. And you'll never get to see what it could have been, because I think obviously we're going to go with this, but I don't think it would have been something that you would have. I think there would have been, why didn't we do that? You'll never know. This isn't the movie It's a Wonderful Life. You don't get to go back and see what it would have been. But I don't think that would have been what we would have wanted on our main artery into town. And it's certainly something that you'll never get another chance to change. You're not going to mess with a bridge, especially a bridge that's owned by Hamilton County. So how's it funded? How do we fund enough budgeted funding? We're going to take it out of special projects again. We have cushion in projects that we know will be underfunded this year and those that won't even be completed or started this year. We are confident, Mark and I, that there will be more than adequate funding to proceed. Plus, the project is ready to begin in about 30 days.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Yes, Mr. Ping?
So you said the project is ready to begin in 30 days. Does that mean they're really going to do it this time and start in 30 days? Because they've told us before they were going to do this.
Yeah,
And
in 21.
yeah, I mean, this is not the first time they've said, "Oh, we're ready to go." So,
Yeah, they're ready to go. They have it under contract. They're partly waiting on us. And yes, they're ready to go. Remember, the big key here was the sidewalks. Remember, we're only doing the sidewalks on the north side. We're doing the railings on both sides. The sidewalks were intertwinkled with every conduit, telecommunication wire you can imagine. So the initial delay was that it all had to be chopped off at both ends, and there's big conduit underneath the bridge where all of that was removed. That was the toughest part of the project. That was all done by Alta Fiber, and it's complete. So now jackhammer it all away, increase the parapet wall, put in the railing, and the city could potentially work with our beautification or arch commission and have lettering added. But that's one of those things where the county sort of doesn't want to hear about it. Wait till we're gone type of thing. But that would really be a beautiful touch to the main artery into town. So yes, they assured me, Todd Gadberry assured me they're ready to begin ASAP.
Okay.
So.
Yes, Mr. Hart?
One, I was going to actually ask the same question as Mr. Ping, so I appreciate that. I also appreciate Mr. Kennedy adding to my vocabulary with intertwinkling, which I have never before.
What?
Twinkle.
Intertwingling. I heard that one too. Yeah.
For a definition of that very soon.
Yeah.
Actual
Hart?
question.
Oh, great.
Will there be any impact on traffic on that bridge throughout? And what does that look like? What can we prepare for?
It's going to be, yes, there'll be north side lane closures. I was assured by county, unlike what Mr. Rolf's going through, that they'll communicate with the city well in advance rather than knock, knock, hey, we're turning your electric off type of stuff. But yes, there will be lane closures. During the day, they feel like they'll be able to retrieve it. But while they're working on removing the sidewalk for workers' comp safety, that whole lane has to be blocked off. They're not allowed to work in the flow of traffic. The hope is that I don't know. I never thought they would get all the trees down in 2 days. So you never really know what will happen. But they for employee safety, they will be closed. One lane.
One lane at a time.
Yes.
So we'll do the north
cities,
side, close
yeah.
line on the side,
Yeah. The cities are
traffic diet, and then
juggle. Yeah. Because they're only going to work on one side of the sidewalk at one time. And then once it's all the way, I would anticipate, and I'll confirm with Todd tomorrow, it's sidewalks, parapet wall, railing. Other side, there's no sidewalk. It's parapet wall, railing. But see, they're also using this opportunity to get underneath the bridge to spray and do the painting and do the structural work underneath. Again, because they're never going to touch this again in our lifetime. So that's the key. And then Duke will come in separate. You guys approved that in March for Duke to come in and put the black lighting that will match the dark sky compliant. It will match the downtown as we work our way up West Loveland. So, but yeah, it's the city's responsibility on West Loveland Bridge is simply to pave it and to plow it. We don't have any other responsibilities.
Thank you.
Mr. Ori?
I think Mr. Kennedy just answered it, but on the south side of the bridge, sidewalk's not being replaced, but the parapet wall is being replaced.
Because you're touching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you touch it, the railings are no longer grandfathered, so they couldn't get around that, but the sidewalks don't need to be.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Bateman?
But on the south side, the sidewalk is being destroyed, eliminated? No, just not replaced.
Just not replaced.
Okay.
They're in good shape.
Okay, all right.
I think it was done prior to me getting here, but those were done. And then when they went over on the north side, I guess it was just a you-know-what show because they were just constant and they just gave up, threw some patch on it. That's why the north side always looks so terrible because it had all that conduit in there. Now it's clean.
Yeah, it was an eyesore, and with this, I think it's appreciate the thoughtfulness in taking the opportunity to enhance something that could have just been an ordinary bridge.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good step or just a good being opportunistic, and I think it's a worthwhile. Certainly, I can imagine with this bridge, like you said, it's hard to imagine what it could have looked like, but with these renderings, it's nice to imagine what it will look like. Maybe some latter day George Bailey will be walking across that bridge, and instead of thinking, what would this world be without me, he'll just say, what a nice railing.
I feel injured.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Bateman.
Mhm.
That's your fault.
Any other comments, questions? Okay. Can you read the resolution, please?
Resolution authorizing the city manager to amend the joint agreement between Hamilton County, Claremont County, and the city of Loveland for the construction and maintenance of improvements to the Loveland Road Bridge.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Ping,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori.
Yes.
Resolution 19 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Captain Gangmore.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Loveland Police Department is in possession of a 2012 Chevy Tahoe that is no longer needed for public service. The vehicle was removed for service and replaced by the 2023 Dodge Durango that was purchased last year. We're asking City Council to authorize the sale of the property identified through the internet site of the cities. Since this vehicle does contain some law enforcement equipment, including emergency lights and sirens, the sale will be restricted to law enforcement agencies. Selling this vehicle to another law enforcement agency will save the buyer and seller costs associated with the installation and or removal of this equipment.
All right. Anybody have any comments or questions?
Is it available for sale just to Ohio cities or governmental entities, or is it a nationwide auction or something?
I think it's open to anyone.
You think what?
It's open to anyone,
Okay.
any agency.
Got that. Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right. Read the resolution, please.
Resolution authorizing the sale of property by internet auction.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ping,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps.
Yes.
Resolution 20 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
All right, this next resolution, we are charged as a council yearly with evaluating the performance of our clerk of council, just her role as clerk of council, which I don't know what percentage of her duties, time, or salary that entails, but if the increase we're giving looks small, it's because we only give a small salary to the clerk. But we're speak for everyone when I say we're all exceptionally happy with our clerk of council, Misty Clark's performance, and appreciate everything that you do as the clerk of council. Thank you. Does anybody have any further comment in that regard? All right, why don't you read the resolution, please?
Resolution increasing the compensation for the clerk of council.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Ping.
Yes.
Resolution 21 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
So in 2021, the city council passed a 3-year agreement with Rumpke for dumpster recycling and sanitation removal. At the time, you accepted the year 4 and year 5 1-year extension options. At the time, for the first 3 years, the rate until April of 2024, the rate went up for city residents was $112 for each, but non-city residents could charge an additional $110. By accepting year 4 and 5 extensions, it included a 44-cent increase. So we, largely through Mark, really manages the sanitation fund, and so we want to simply just do this as a pass-through. If you look at our current rates, inside the city, we're charged $14.60. We're charged 19 cents fuel charge, which is the city for in-city residents is $14.79. We charge $17.71, which is a $2.92 profit. And that profit, almost down to 30, 40 grand a year, end of year budget, is all of the leaf pickup, Christmas trees, brush pickup, everything sanitation. So why do we charge that increased fee? We charge the same profit to out of city residents who get none of those benefits because, quite frankly, they're benefiting from our billing. They're also benefiting from the fact that the city is a part of SWAR. Corey Schmidt got the city in this many years ago. So we have a bargaining power, a bidding power by being a part of SWAR that the non-city residents all benefit from. You really need to evaluate what non-SWAR cities are paying, the rate, and that's recycling and garbages. The city residents get a great discount. So I'm just trying to explain why our rate for the customers includes that per unit profit of $2.92. So when the 44 cents came in for year 4, which is effective April, Mark and I sat down and we both agreed this really wasn't an opportunity that we wanted to say, well, let's try to get a little more profit. Because with the funding that's in there, he runs it to a point where we're able to just pass that 44 cents through, maintain our profit, and no other changes, no other increases to the city residents or non-city residents. And again, anytime there's a fee, there's a corresponding amendment to Section 111 where all city fees are. So what you're actually doing is a modifying just for two reasons. Just the first reading tonight, which is modifying Section 111.02A to increase the sanitation rates for city residents to $18.15 per unit and non-city residents to $19.25 per unit.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any comments or questions? Mr. Ping?
I just had a question on the I think you made a comment to this, but the profit that we're talking about, that word strikes me as peculiar just because we're not really profiting.
Yeah, good point.
We're
That's
using
probably
it
not
for other purposes. But there's about $175,000 there. You said all but about $30,000 of that is going currently to these other programs that we're funding that are indirectly related to sanitation.
When you look at the sanitation fund, which is basically also when you look at the sewer billing fund, it's all based upon when we're being billed and when we're sending money out to Rumpke. But if you look at the end of year balance in 2023 in the sanitation fund, it was right around 40 grand. And those fundings, we also have an agreement with Evans, for example, that for those that miss brush pickup, you can get a voucher and you get to go down. And we systematically charge, the leaf pickup. Those are we charge salaries, and we keep that fund right around that balance. We don't use it excessively. We're not taking people that are doing leaf pickup and to cushion the water fund. So net profit is really not a good word. It's just, we use those funds to the benefit of the services that the residents get. And it's usually pretty much dead on. I'm just telling you that sanitation fund, as we sit here right now, doesn't have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're all just sort of doing this, wondering where we can do it. It really is to the penny. Mark keeps it to the penny of the services that we provide our residents, which they benefit significantly from.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
Is this for both years 4 and 5, or just one at a time?
I probably should have done it for both, but this is just for year 4. I have to leave that option in year 5, but I would fully anticipate this time next year I'll be back with another 44-cent pass through, because I believe it is another 44 cents. Yes. Okay. I debated it both ways, but I thought that I can't foresee it. What if there was a change? What if reach went up and we did need to go up and above just the 44 cents? I would have then had to come back and rescind. So I'm only doing a 1 year this year. We'll be back next year. Just full transparency. We have to make sure that that fund stays in the right thing.
Okay. Any other? First reading only. Go ahead and read the ordinance.
Ordinance amending the codified ordinances of Loveland Chapter 111, Schedule of Fees, Fines, and Other Charges regarding sanitation services.
Thank you. All right, council. Also, this time of year, rates our esteemed city manager's performance, which we have done, and as usual, we are all very pleased with Mr. Kennedy's efforts. been a challenging year with a number of projects and other matters that he has had to juggle, and as always has done a great job with it. So I think I speak for all of us, so anybody is welcome to have what other further comment you have, but we are thrilled to have you as our city manager. We know as we embark on this finding an assistant city manager quest that having a good, solid, trustworthy, energetic, and obviously very knowledgeable city manager yourself is very hard to come by. We're lucky in our city, and our residents are lucky to have you at the helm. So thank you for everything that you do. Anyone have any further comments? All right, why don't you go ahead and read the ordinance? Yes, what?
No, I will say that I've been doing this for 39 years, and I can't imagine being in another community, getting to work with the people out there. I mean, I'm looking at committee members and a more supportive council, and people in my business wait years to be in a situation where there's projects like this going on, and there's all the other. That is something that we wait forever. I'm not going to sit up here and say I would do this for free. That's asinine. But I will say that I've been doing this for a long time, and these people, including Misty and Mark, that is a once in a lifetime thing. I can't imagine that I'll ever work for another community and ever get to work for a more supportive mayor and council. I get to talk to Kathy every day. We just met with her senator, pushing for funding for another project. And I think these people do more than you will ever know behind the scenes. And I spend more time with Misty than I do my own wife. And I just wanted to say the people that I get to work with are really special. So.
All right. Well, what's a speech?
I didn't mean to make a speech. I just thought it was an opportunity to thank you guys. So.
All right, we haven't read the ordinance yet. All right, read the ordinance, please.
Ordinance amending the employment agreement to increase the compensation of City Manager David Kennedy.
All right. Various reports, committee minutes and reports. Anybody have any comments on any of those? Unless I'm missing something. I think the next thing is the last thing, which is appointments to the Hill Wagner Cemetery Preservation Committee, which we, I think, only last month passed the legislation creating. Pat Mays was instrumental in getting this moved along and getting this off the ground. So this is to appoint these individuals to the terms that you see here on this memo. So would ask for a motion affirming these appointments to the Hill Wagner Cemetery Preservation Committee.
Move to approve the appointments to the Hill Wagner Cemetery Preservation.
Second.
Thank you. Any comment? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. All right, so let's see. Last Friday was the 2024 Valentine's Day breakfast where Becky Giver, I think it was the 4th or 5th event that we introduced Becky Giver as the Valentine lady for 2024, but Kennedy and I were there. Was our school superintendent and all the kids that did their poetry and everything else. That was very nice. Unless you were living under a rock, you saw that Hearts of Fire was this last weekend. And I don't know if there would be enough superlatives to really do justice to what an event that is. With Misty and the committee that she's put together, there was something going on everywhere. What a showcase for our city. Just the positive comments that I've heard and seen since then. It really was an unbelievably spectacular event. So well done. As you're in your committee as well.
Elvis was there.
Elvis was there. All right, so this is always an interesting thing to bring up, and actually doesn't happen very often, so I don't know if it's interesting or not. But I think it's time that we at least consider whether or not council salaries make sense. The last time that council looked at this was 15 years ago, 2009, so it seems like maybe something every 15 years that might be worthy of considering. So last time, what happened 15 years ago was that council referred it to the Finance Commission to kind of do their own sort of study and determine whether or not any raises were warranted. If the recommendation is that we should raise, have some modest raise to council salaries, we would pass the legislation now. They would not go into effect until after the 2025 election. So you're not allowed as council members to vote in a raise for ourselves. So we'd have to wait till after the next election. So I think 15 years is probably a good time to take a look at it. So if council agrees, I'd like to refer this to the Finance Commission for their consideration and ask the clerk if you could get them the resolution from 2009 and also any comparatives that I know you've put a few together. Just anything else that Mark, I'm sure, could get them anything else they might need to at least take a look at this. So everybody okay with that?
Agree.
We need to do anything, or is that good enough? Good enough? All right. Last, we will hold a work session this Saturday, February 13th at the Marmalade Lily. The meeting begins at 9 a.m., which is great. I thought it was 8 a.m. when I first saw it. Anybody have anything else to report? All right. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please. Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Bateman?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Put his name.